Welcome to Heal Your Heart Vasomeritech EECP Treatment Center. In this video, fact versus opinion, today we are going to discuss about a drug called aspirin. Many physicians, they prescribe aspirin to their patient to prevent heart attack and stroke. Similarly, some of the physicians will ask the patient to stop taking aspirin because it may not be beneficial to them. Now, as the opinion, it differs from physicians to physician. Now, we like to know what is a fact. To know the fact whether aspirin should be given or should not be given, it depends upon in which patient this aspirin is recommended. So, under the fact versus opinion, in this video, we are going to evaluate how aspirin is given and when aspirin should not be given. So before going in detail about the aspirin, let's just discuss what is this aspirin. Aspirin is a wonder drug because in the lower dose, it has a potential effect of preventing heart attack and stroke. But if the dose is a bit higher, then it has a potential of reducing your fever. We call it as antipyretic effect or anti-inflammatory effect. It can reduce pain. So it can be a painkiller, it can reduce your fever, and also it can able to reduce your chance of getting heart attack and stroke. Miscellaneously, there are also studies to show aspirin given to the elderly people can also prevent the occurrence of colorectal cancer. So this is why it is called as a magic pill or a wonder pill. So millions, in fact lakhs and lakhs of people are taking aspirin for this effect. So how does it aspirin actually act? So aspirin is otherwise called as acetyl salicylic acid. This is a technical term and simply we call it as aspirin. And how it is act, what is its mechanism of action? So what aspirin actually does is it prevents or it inhibits what we call as cyclooxygenase 1 and cyclooxygenase 2. In fact, it reduces the production of something called thromboxane. So instead of getting into technical, the simple thing is aspirin will be able to prevent the formation of thrombus or just clot formation. So when you say it prevents the formation of thrombus or clot formation, the other part is it is going to increase the bleeding. So it is like a balance, whether you need to prevent the bleeding or you're going to increase the bleeding, whether you're going to stop the block formation. If you look at your cardiovascular disease means your heart attack or your stroke, which is otherwise called as a brain attack. So in cardiovascular disease prevention, clot formation is an important factor which causes heart attack as well as stroke. So if aspirin can able to prevent this clot formation, very well, it can able to stop you getting a heart attack and stop you getting a stroke. But at the same time, the other adverse effect of aspirin, when it is forming, as I said, when it is stop the thrombus formation or clot formation, it can also promote bleeding. And interestingly, this increased bleeding is also a cause for heart attack and stroke. So aspirin at the right dose at the right time has a preventive effect, but it may not be all the time because of the excess bleeding it causes. So to find out when aspirin is going to be useful in prevention, we should be able to know what actually prevention means. So we should know about what is prevention. Prevention can be categorized into three parts. One is primary, secondary, tertiary. So primary prevention is patient who don't have cardiovascular disease as such. So they don't have a heart attack or they didn't have chest pain, but they do have some risk factor of developing heart disease in the future. These risk factors are diabetes, hypertension, or they have a strong family history, they are sedentary, lack of exercise, bad food habit. So they have all the criteria to develop heart disease in the future. So in this group of patients, if I give aspirin, can I prevent the occurrence of heart attack and stroke? So this is where aspirin is used as a primary prevention. Now, the same aspirin can be also used in what we call as a secondary prevention. In secondary prevention, the patient, elderly or a old age person who had a heart attack already. So when you have a heart attack, still you can able to take aspirin to prevent him to get another heart attack, which is called a secondary prevention. And finally, what we call as a tertiary prevention. In tertiary prevention, people have a heart attack and then they underwent a procedure called angioplasty or a bypass surgery to fix this blockage, and then taking aspirin because one, they don't want to get a recurrent heart attack. Second, they don't want that stent to get closed by formation of clot. So here we call it as a tertiary prevention. So aspirin can be used in all this group. So now when you understand the primary, secondary and tertiary, I will go in detail to show where aspirin is effective and where aspirin is not effective and in fact should be immediately stopped. The universal appeal for taking aspirin is because in its primary prevention, it can prevent the occurrence of heart attack and stroke in people who are healthy. That's why millions of people are taking aspirin as a primary prevention. The reason is the drug is very small, the dosage is small, and also is very cost effective. So it acts as a prevention, is very appealing to the mass and also to the pharmaceutical industry. Now, in the fact versus opinion, this is just an opinion. We don't have enough facts or data to support that it can be used as a primary preventive drug. So, a lot of trials that are in previous, from before 2009, there are multiple small and big trials which all shows using aspirin in these group of patients, primary patient, surely do reduce the risk of getting heart attack and stroke. But in 2009, anti-thrombotic trialist collaboration, ATT, is a meta-analysis. Meta-analysis means they took out all the data from the previous study, pulled it together to see the effectiveness of aspirin in reducing death and stroke and also the risk of bleeding. So when you take a drug, the adverse effect as well as the beneficial should be weighed properly so that if the adverse effect is less than the benefit, then it can be recommended into the public. So this ATT trial, what they did is almost 95,000 people has been taken for analysis and they followed up to 5 years. So in the primary prevention, when these people who are taking aspirin is compared with a placebo, it means they may take some tablet which they think it's aspirin, but it is not an aspirin, it's just a placebo drug. So in 5 years, they found out the number of patients who are taken aspirin as a prevention compared with this placebo group. There is about a 8% reduction in the occurrence of heart attack and stroke. And if you look at the bleeding, when you start taking aspirin, the bleeding risk mildly increases and this bleeding risk remains same even if you're taking for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years or 5 years. So there is nothing called adaptability. You take a drug, initially it may bleed, but after you try to take the drug for a long period of time, the bleeding risk subsides. No. If you take an aspirin for a first time, if you have a bleeding, this is going to continue throughout. So when they look at the trial results, the bleeding complication is little bit higher, but the prevention of heart attack and stroke is very, very mild, which we cannot even say it should be recommended because you are putting them under the bleeding risk with the benefit of stroke and heart attack benefit is very, very less. So basically, the trial report from the ATT, the meta-analysis shows aspirin should not be used as a primary preventive tool in young or elderly adults or with diabetes. So in the fact versus opinion, you might heard lot of opinion from your physician, but if you don't have a heart disease, taking aspirin will not help you. Now, the second argument is, many people has pointed out, well, there is a 12% reduction, but this 12% reduction, statistically, the number looks to be good, but on the ground reality, the benefit is very, 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 very poor. Let me translate into a simple sentence where each and every patient can understand rather than going for statistics or in a point of view of a cardiologist or a policymakers, pharmaceutical industries. If I am prescribing aspirin for all my patients, how many deaths can I stop? So the data shows if I put aspirin in maybe 1,500 patients has been given aspirin, I may able to achieve one reduction in heart attack. That heart attack also will not lead to mortality, mean death. It means a non-fatal myocardial infarction, non-fatal heart attack. So I have to put 1500 patients in my clinic with aspirin to prevent one heart attack. But think about the 1499 people who are taking aspirin with no benefit and exposing them to an increased risk of bleeding. So in the fact versus opinion, the fact remains very clear: aspirin should not be used as a primary preventive tool because your risk of bleeding is going to be very high and the benefit you are going to sustain is very, very negligible.